Can I just ask again for clarification? Every single hand went up around the table when you said you wanted to get married theoretically someday. Who is looking forward to being a mom around the table or wants kids in some capacity?
High, please. Put them high.
That's fascinating to me. All but two in a society where we have the lowest birth rate ever. We literally can't even replace our own population. And I think it's unquestionable to say that feminism is really steering women away from wanting to have children today. They're looked at as a burden to your career, your personal life. Heck, even climate change is now a reason not to have kids because it's destroying the planet, as we hear from a lot of politicians currently in Washington. So, I mean, that is wild to me. At the same time, knowing that you guys want to get married and that you want to have children, how many of you would consider yourselves to be modern feminists?
Starting with you.
Who would call yourself a feminist?
I've never thought about it.
You don't consider yourself a feminist?
I really don't like restricting myself to any like form of label.
Okay.
You don't like labels.
What is the actual definition of a feminist?
Well, I don't know that we have a definition today, to be honest with you. I think feminism.
Yeah, I can give you a good definition for feminism if you'd like one.
For today, let's hear yours, Andrew.
Yeah, so this would be the belief in an egalitarian structure where men and women are both equal in nature and equal in equity and equal under the law.
I would question if that's really the definition of feminism for most modern feminists.
Oh, no,
today.
no. That is the best definition that I can give that the most amount of feminists would agree with.
Well,
and I'm willing to
interesting.
grant them the nicest definition that I can come up with to show them how bad it still is, even if I did.
That's your most charitable
It's my
definition.
most charitable definition.
That's
the nicest,
good clarification.
most charitable way that I could possibly do it.
If that's the definition, I would say I prefer justice over equality. I like to look at things more subjectively. Everyone's going to have a different experience or have different struggles or strengths, and I think subjectivity is more important than a label. I agree.
When you talk, just a quick follow-up, if you don't mind, very quickly. When you say justice, can you tell us what justice is?
So let's say you are at like a baseball game. This is like an old, like really, really old like Facebook post, and you are like watching over the stand. A man can watch over the stand. He's tall enough. A woman needs a stool, and a child needs two.
That's equity, though. What makes that justice?
I would say more so that's justice.
Okay, so what makes it just?
So you are looking at something more subjectively.
So it's a subjective metric for
It's
justice.
subjective. And
Yeah, so is
you
all
are
justice
applying-
subjective?
You are applying what the person specifically needs. I'm not really sure I understand what you're asking.
Yeah, so let me explain. When I ask you what justice is, right, it's a hard question. I don't blame you for not knowing off the top of your head. I'm asking what you're grounding justice on. What is the grounding foundation for what you consider justice to be?
For me and how I look at things, like I said previously, I think it's subjective. What a person needs is what we should strive to like give them, you know, whether it be in a family dynamic, a child with disabilities, etc.
Yeah, but that's not a grounding foundation for why we should do that. It's just your belief that we should.
Why we should do that?
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's because it'll bring a sense of community. We care and love about each other.
So outcomes.
Sorry?
So it's outcomes based. Basically, you're looking at outcomes, and you're saying that if we're a just society under what you consider just to be, the outcomes are going to be better for society.
I mean, I'm not sure I'm following correctly.
If I ask you, so I'll try to make this like really crystal clear. If I'm asking you what is justice, and you give an example, and I ask you, but why should we do it? You say because it makes for a better society. Then wouldn't you really be basing justice on outcomes?
So, I suppose so. Like for an example, for justice, let's say somebody like robs a store and harms an innocent shopkeeper. They should be arrested and prosecuted, but we shouldn't be arresting everyone and prosecuting them for robbing a store.
Yeah, but why shouldn't we arrest them, take them out, and put them in front of a firing squad immediately? Why would that be unjust?
Then you like dive into the philosophy of morality at that point.
Yeah, well,
So,
that's
like,
what justice is.
morals
Justice
also
is the
subjective.
philosophy of morality, right?
Yes. So, like, from
Yeah.
my personal standpoint, it would be my own values and morality of why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's everyone's
Okay.
opinion. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so it's a subjective metric based on your subjective interpretation of what justice ought to be.
Sure.
Okay,
So
thank you.
wouldn't consider yourself a feminist necessarily. Wouldn't consider yourself a feminist
I would
necessarily.
consider myself a
You
feminist.
would. Okay.
I think based off of like that specific definition of just wanting
I don't even think we have to tie it to that
equality.
definition, but just what modern feminism has looked like
I-
for our generation.
I personally, I think that men and women should just be treated equally and have, you know, of course there's discrepancies, gender discrepancies. I won't act like
Do you
there
think they're
aren't
not?
differences. I think in some worlds they're not.
Living underscore donated $200.
Aspects.
Notice how when men are at a clear societal disadvantage it's called depression or everyone should have equal access. Sounds like all lives matter to me. Why is it not sexism in your eyes?
I'm not going to deny that in like social terms, there are a lot of things happening to men right now. But I'm not going to deny that there are a lot of things happening to women. I do think it's unfair that a man can have his reputation ruined just by pissing off some girl. Like, I've seen it happen. But I don't think it's all that common. And I think a lot of women that have had talked about bad experiences with men are usually not believed.
Well, there's an easy way actually for us to determine at the table who's a feminist and who is not. If you don't want to go with the definition, I'll just ask a single question. Do you guys believe that being a stay-at-home mom holds women back?
It's a great
No.
question.
No.
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 Some.
Sometimes.
Oh, some.
Okay.
Just really quick, around the
No.
table, please.
No. No.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, are you a feminist?
No.
I don't know. Honestly.
Yes.
You don't know anything. Okay.
No.
No.
I wouldn't consider myself a modern feminist, no.
All right.
Fascinating.